He spent the entire afternoon pacing in front of the mirror, practicing the same nervous smile. Aram wasn't the kind of guy who went on dates often, mostly because he never believed someone like Mehak would ever say yes to him. She was elegant, quiet but confident, the kind of woman whose presence made people straighten their backs. And yet, after weeks of awkward glances at the office cafeteria and hesitant conversations near the elevator, she agreed to go out with him. He knew he couldn't afford a fancy place. His last paycheck was already balancing between bills and supporting his mother's medicines. But canceling the date wasn't an option. So he made a decision, one he hoped wouldn't embarrass her. He chose Danny's Diner, the cheapest place on the outskirts of town. The kind of place with flickering neon signs, plastic ketchup bottles, and a jukebox older than both of them combined. When Mehak arrived, dressed simply but gracefully, her eyes widened at the sight of the diner. A black car pulled away behind her, and even the driver seemed confused why she was being dropped off there. She turned to Aram, who swallowed hard. "This is where we're eating?" she asked, not rudely, just surprised. He nodded. "Yeah. I know it's not much. But they make the best grilled sandwiches in the city. Thought you'd like to try it." For a moment, she just stared at him. He prepared himself for the kind of polite rejection people use when they realize they've made a mistake. But then something unexpected happened. She smiled. "Let's go in," she said. Inside, the diner smelled of old coffee and butter sizzling on a greasy pan. A few truck drivers sat in a corner, arguing about cricket. The old waitress waved at Aram as if she'd known him forever. "You brought a date this time?" she asked loudly. Aram's ears turned pink. They sat in a booth near the window. The vinyl seat had a small tear, and Mehak traced it with her finger before folding her hands on the table. "You come here often?" she asked. Aram nodded. "Every Sunday. It's quiet. Makes me feel like life is slower here." She looked around, taking in every detail, the mismatched chairs, the soft hum of the ceiling fan, the worn-out menu. Then something softened in her eyes, something almost nostalgic. "I like it," she said suddenly. "It feels real." Aram didn't expect that answer. "Really?" "Really," she said with a small laugh. "I'm kind of tired of pretending everything has to be perfect all the time." Their food arrived, 2 grilled sandwiches and milkshakes. When she took the first bite, her eyebrows shot up. "This is incredible," she said, shocked. "Told you," he grinned. But just when he started feeling relieved, trouble walked through the door. A tall man in an expensive suit stormed into the diner, looking completely out of place among the crumpled napkins and old coffee mugs. His eyes scanned the room rapidly, then locked on Mehak. "There you are," he snapped, marching toward them. "Do you have any idea how worried I was? You didn't answer my calls." Mehak stiffened. Aram was frozen, unsure what was happening. "Aram," she whispered, "this is..." "I'm her brother," the man finished sharply. "And you," he glared at Aram, "you brought her here?" Customers turned to watch, sensing drama brewing. Even the jukebox seemed to quiet down. Aram stood up, trying to stay respectful. "Sir, I know it's not a fancy place, but..." "But nothing," the brother barked. "Do you know who she is? She doesn't belong in places like this." The air tightened. Mehak's jaw trembled, not with fear, but with anger. "Enough, Adil," she said firmly. "I agreed to come on this date. You can't decide where I belong." Her brother ignored her, raising his voice so everyone could hear. "Do you even know he still lives in a rented room?" "That he barely..." "Adil," she cut him off. But the damage was done. Aram felt every eye in the diner turn to him. The humiliation hit like a punch. He lowered his gaze, hands shaking. "Mehak, maybe this was a mistake. You should go." But then something shocking happened, something that silenced even the loud truck drivers. Mehak stood up, moved to Aram's side, and took his hand in hers. "Adil," she said slowly, "if a man treats me with respect, listens to me, and brings honesty instead of pretense, then I don't care where he takes me. I care who I'm with." Her voice echoed across the diner. Adil stared at her, stunned. The customers held their breaths. Even the waitress paused mid-step. Aram's heart hammered inside his chest. Mehak turned to him. "You didn't insult me by bringing me here. You showed me something real." Aram had never felt so seen in his life. The brother exhaled sharply, defeated. He muttered something under his breath and walked out, the door slamming behind him. Silence hung for a second, then the entire diner burst into soft applause. Mehak blushed. Aram didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The waitress winked at him. "Keep her," she whispered. When they finally stepped outside later that night, the neon sign flickered above them, casting a warm glow. "Thank you," he said quietly. "For standing up for me." She squeezed his hand. "I didn't stand up for you," she said. "I stood up for us." They walked down the empty street together, two silhouettes under dim streetlights, leaving behind a night no one inside that old diner was ever going to forget. And as they turned the corner, Aram realized something: sometimes the cheapest places reveal the richest truths. And sometimes, the simplest date becomes the moment that shocks everyone, because it shows who truly belongs together.